I don't have enough time. I want to retire by this age. Is that something that you say to yourself often, but you just don't know the answer to? Well, in this episode of the Learn podcast, we're going to be talking about how you can gain back your time to do the things that you want to do, and also figure out the age that you want to retire at comfortably. And last but not least, relationships. Have you ever heard the saying, your net work equals your net worth? We're going to definitely be talking about that today. So welcome to another episode of the Learn Podcast. I'm your host, Dean the Wealth Coach, and let's dive right into it. I don't have enough time. So I don't have enough time. I was having a conversation with somebody today, and they were telling me, I don't have enough time. I don't even have enough time to sit down and watch TV. I haven't watched TV for 2 weeks. And you know what my response was? You're growing. And they laughed and like, what? I was like, you sitting, having time to watch TV, that's mindless entertainment. It's not doing anything to enhance or uplift your lifestyle. I said, what you need to do is pick up a book and start reading. When I said that, they're like I could tell that they're gonna come back with it. I was like, listen, you don't need to start reading the whole book. Just find one book and just start by reading one page a day. One page sounds silly, but that's how I started to get into reading. I started off with one paragraph actually, because I just couldn't go through reading the books. So I said, you know what? Let me focus on one page or one paragraph. And then I said one paragraph silly. So I started to do one page. When it's something that you're interested in, that one page will turn into 10 pages, or that one page will turn into the whole chapter. Maybe even finishing the book in a whole weekend. I actually did that once. I was pretty shocked. Sorry. I shocked myself because I didn't think I could actually read a book in a weekend. And I actually did it. I just stood there and just kept reading and reading, and the story was really, really good. So, but for personal development books, it may not come off that way, but it's something for you to at least try. You just start with one page. If one page is enough for you, all right, great, move on. Next day comes, do the same thing. And before you know it, you'll actually be finishing an actual book. You may go from one page to doing 10 pages. I like to set my benchmark at least 10 pages. And you don't necessarily have to read it all at once. Like, segment it throughout the day. If you're at work, read on your break. If you come home or just before bed, read. First thing in the morning, read. There's many places where you can set this up. But if time is something that you struggle with, maybe you have a family, you got kids to take care of, elderly parents, whatever it may be, you need to start coming up with a schedule. And a schedule will help you be able to do the things that it is that you want to do. It could be a schedule you put on your fridge. It could be, I got this at the dollar store. A weekly planner, you can use this. So that's something that you guys can use. You can use your phone to use Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, whatever it is. There's all these devices, these materials out there that you can use to help you schedule your time. Even if it's 5 minutes just to read a page from your book, use that 5 minutes. Give that 5 minutes to yourself. You owe it to yourself to do the things that you enjoy doing. Are you on this earth to satisfy other people or to have a good life? You be the judge. So that's something that I want you guys to implement. Start by writing or creating a schedule. Start with the two easiest. Well, it may not be the easiest for all people, but start with the time you're going to bed and the time that you're waking up. Start with just doing that. It's going back to like the book, one page or one paragraph. Start with your bedtime and your rising time. Start with those two things first, and then start putting things into your day and creating a workflow for yourself. This will help change the whole trajectory of your lifestyle, because you now have things down on paper. You're not rushing to do things. You know how much time you have for certain things. And it's okay if you go over time on things, or your schedule doesn't go according to plan. If you can get anywhere from 70 to 85%, that's an awesome day. Don't look at it as like, oh, I didn't get everything finished. No, there's not always going to be that time where you get everything done 100%. Maybe in the beginning, you only hit 50, 60%. That's also great. Why? Because now you have something to improve on. Maybe I didn't give myself enough time. Oh, I gave myself too much time here, so I can cut back on this. When you start implementing these things, you're going to see a big shift in how you have your time, and it's going to change your whole mood because you're going to get more things done than you did previously. That leads over into retirement. Again, having this conversation with somebody, like I could just hear it in their voice. They're like, Dean, I need to retire by this age. Hey, it may or may not happen. It's a 50-50 shot. But if you are saying that now, schedule that out and be like, all right, for the next 4, 5, 6 years, whatever your retirement age is, all right, that's your goalpost. Work your way backwards. How do I get closer to that goalpost? How do I meet the demands of my future self? If it calls for you to make major sacrifices, do it. If it calls for you to work a second job and you have the capacity to do so, do it. Start a business, do it. Save more money, invest more aggressively, then do it. But you have to make sure you understand your risk tolerance, the money that you can put towards these things, your capacity to do a second job or even start like a side hustle. If you're unable to do these things, maybe cut back on a few things to get you closer to your destination. It's like planning a trip. Think of retirement as your trip. What's the vehicle that you're going to use to get there? Is it plane, train, or boat? There's many different ways to get to a destination, right? You got to be able to know which one it is that you're going to use to get to that final destination. What are you packing? How much spending money are you going to have? Retirement is the exact same thing. Just the only thing is between a retirement and a vacation ends after a certain amount of days. Retirement is, well, retirement's more long term. I don't know how many days, but if you retire, say when you're 40 until it's time to go. So that could be till you're 80. So what are you going to do for those 40 years? I did create something to help you overcome that. Here in my financially fit activity book. So this is an adult activity book that I created. And one of the activities that I created in this book is what's your freedom number? With understand or figuring out what your freedom number is, it will pretty much just set the tone for you as what it is that you need to do on a consistent basis to get you to your end goal of retirement. So this page here is just what's your freedom number. Figuring out what your freedom number is it's a game changer for you because now you know exactly how much money it is that you need to retire comfortably and never have to work again. Never have to work again. A simple exercise that can help you get to where you need to be. Now imagine that exercise tells you it's going to take you 25 years. And you're like, that's going to make your mind start to think, maybe I don't want to wait 25 years to retire. I need to do this faster. And then your brain's going to start to think, how can I make more money? Or what can I do to be able to retire faster? Maybe cut down on some of these retirement expenses so that I don't have to earn as much or save as much to get to that end goal. So these are some things that you guys want to think about when it comes to retirement. What is it that you're going to do on a daily basis? Are you going to be someone that's going to be traveling all the time? Maybe you're going to be taking care of your grandkids. Who knows? The possibilities are endless, but you need to know what it is that you want to do when you retire. We kind of have like 3 life cycles: childhood, adulthood, and then retirement. And a lot of people are not prepared for retirement. A lot of people end up working in retirement. It's fine if you're working because you want to, but if you're working because you have to, that's not the greatest thing. And it will take a toll on your body and your mind. So be very mindful of your mind, your body, what it's telling you, and figure out what you want to do when you retire so that you're not just ultimately bored when retirement comes. And the last topic today is relationships. Your net work equals your net worth. That took me 3 times to get that right. And the reason why I bring this up is because I did a presentation for a school. Well, not a school, but a class. A teacher reached out to me. She said she doesn't have funding, but she would love for these kids to learn about money, how to manage it, to not be a consumer and be more of a be just more conscious of how they spend their money. And what came of that whole workshop was, it went from that teacher, she's actually one of my cousin's teachers, but that teacher also got one of my books through another business that I gave one of my books to. And I've done some well, not workshops, but I've done some live presentations with them online, and it's like, it's coming back like tenfold, where it's like, hey, I gave these books to this organization gave it to this teacher, and the teacher reached out to me, along with my cousin helping out with that. And from us doing that presentation with them, it led me and my partner, we were in the facility, and funny enough, the guy that runs the facility, he actually grew up with him. And it's like one thing led to another, where it's like, hey, I'll help you guys with this. If you guys need XYZ, I can help you with that. And it was just like, man, who would have thought? All because we did something for free. Sometimes a lot of people think that money always has to be involved, but money doesn't always have to be involved. Like, sometimes just doing those things for free can lead to opening more doors for you. By that, us going to that facility, we're able to meet another person that does engineering, and has like a whole recording studio where you can do audio, video, and the amount of, like, not the amount of, but it was just like such an eye opener, because it's like, oh, this person. It's like, yeah. And it's like, yeah, oh, what I meant to say was, based on having a conversation with him, he was like, yeah, if this is a place where these kids can come and do other stuff. And we're like, oh, this is perfect, because we're looking to hire some kids to help us with what we're doing. They're like, this is the spot to do it. And funny enough, he asked for a business card, and I gave him a book, and he laughed, and he's like, what did he say? He's like, oh, my wife's a teacher. So I was like, who would have known? And it was just all because we were walking by, just seeing the studio, and then we were interested in it, and we just had the conversation. And it's like, hey, it's like, one person, we met one person, or we were doing something for one person, ended up seeing two other people, and it's like relationships just got built off of that one presentation that we we're doing. And if you're somebody that's an introvert, I'm an introvert, if you didn't know, or if I never said it on one of my videos, but you need to step out of your shell. As much as it pains you to say something to somebody, the obstacle is the way. It was a great segment. I'll leave the description in for that book, if you want to get a copy of it. I'm going to be talking more about the obstacle is the way, but just relationships. You need to foster those relationships. It's like, there's a thing called 6 degrees of separation, or there's a book called The Third Door. There's always, or 3 degrees of separation, I think it is. One of the two, but basically it's like, if you know somebody, that person knows somebody that you need to get in contact with, or it's like you're 3 separations away from meeting that person that you need to meet. And you just need to keep fostering these relationships. I was lucky enough to meet this one individual, rest in peace. His name was Jay Williams, and he was able to get me into the largest school board with my partner to teach financial literacy. And that relationship came from, I think it was Instagram that we met him. And that led us to meeting one of his co-workers, and they were able to help us get into the school board district that we've been trying to get into for 2 years. And based off of that relationship, it got done in less than a year. So I just want to express my gratitude for Jay Williams and his family out there. My condolences to all of you. And with that being said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in to the Learn podcast. If you learned something today, what I need you to do is drop the L and start earning, whether it's the knowledge or if it's in your pockets. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next episode.